Models line up at the Prada Fall 2018 show. Anok, set to open the show, begins to panic, but there's no time to turn back. The lights dim, and the soundtrack begins to play. "Go," the director says. She takes a deep breath, saunters out of the shadows, and into a moment that will change her life in a flash. Born December 20th, 1997 in Cairo, Egypt, Anok was born to South Sudanese parents. She was born a refugee due to the Second South Sudanese Civil War. That is a tongue twister. And her family fled to the U.S. due to the Sudanese genocide. The Civil War lasted 22 years, starting in South Sudan but spread to places like the Blue Nile region, and it claimed about 2 million lives. But the war led to the creation of South Sudan as an independent nation in 2011. The Yai family relocated to New England. Anok said to Forbes, "When we came to the US, I was around 3 or 4, and we stopped in New York City first, and then we went to New Hampshire because they had the most benefits for immigrants. We were given government housing and assistance. Had we not been given that, I don't know where we would have ended up." She was raised in the Elmwood Gardens housing projects. "As I grew up in school, I was bullied for my skin color. I had to develop thick skin. I had to learn the language, be able to take care of my siblings, then go to school." She played basketball and track. She watched America's Next Top Model with her sister and watched runway collections of Naomi Campbell on YouTube. And she thought, I can do that too. By the way, I make runway collection videos. I don't know if anyone was aware. I'm just saying. She stayed true to her father's aspirations, which was her becoming a doctor. She said, "He drilled into me every day that it was what I would do. He made me read the dictionary at night in kindergarten, do spelling tests, define the words." She graduated from Manchester High and went on to study biochemistry. So she visits a friend at Howard University for the Yard Fest, which is like their homecoming concert, and a man stops her. As I was leaving, the photographer started taking pictures. He asked for my Instagram account and told me he thought the photo was going to go viral. I didn't think anything of it until the next day when my phone started blowing up. My first thought was that my friends had put up an embarrassing photo of me on Twitter. I thought I'd become a meme. I started off with 150 followers on Instagram, and that night it was 30,000. The next night it was 50,000. And then I started getting calls from agencies. That was wild. Agencies like IMG and Next called her, but she went with Next. Kyle Hagler, the president of Next, said, "I just knew I had to meet her and sign her." When I met her in person, she became even more compelling. Her personal story and journey, her drive, her infectious personality. In fashion, we are still selling beauty and style, but the ultimate thing that we are selling to the world is the idea and importance of self-actualization and complete understanding of self. Anok is representative of those things and so much more. Big breakout moments, so exclusive contracts or opening shows, big moments like that don't happen very often for Black and brown models. Ashley Mears, former model and professor of sociology at Boston University, found that between the year 2000 and 2010, 47% of models appearing on catwalks at one of the 4 major fashion weeks around the world appeared only once. So now if you think of that, imagine those calculations for Black models. In contrast, Anok's moment came pretty fast. In 2018, only a couple months after being signed, she booked a worldwide exclusive casting for Prada, an exclusive with a brand. You can't walk a certain city or a season, depending, I guess, on the contract. Semi-exclusive means you cannot walk any shows prior to the show that you are exclusive for. When the stylist asked me if I was ready, I told her I didn't remember where to walk, but she told me to follow the light, and the second I got on the runway, everything just came back to me. Anok is the first Sudanese woman and the second black woman to open a Prada show. And I want you to understand the amount of time that went past. Okay, so Naomi Campbell opens the show. Anok is born a couple of months later. Anok grows up and then opens the Prada show. No black woman opened that show. Jordan Dunn walked the show, but no black woman opened a Prada show since Anok's birth in 1997. After that, work picked up real fast. She booked a beauty contract with Estee Lauder.
I'm Anok Yai, and I'm an Estee Lauder model. Joining Estee Lauder is a great honor. Estee Lauder said that she never dreamed of success, she worked for it.
The first black woman to do so was Leah back in 2002. She covered American and British Vogue. I basically told myself not to get too excited because when they shoot cover tests, it's to see whether or not you'll be on the cover. It's never a guarantee. After her contract with Prada was up, she went to walk 59 shows, including Fendi, Saint Laurent, and Versace. She commits to the advancement of black creatives. One thing I also noticed is that when black creatives are introduced into this diversity narrative, it's solely because they are black. I don't like this because I want to get to a point that people don't hire black people because they're black, but because they are unbelievably talented. She champions the equality for black models in the industry. I told my agent I refused to straighten my hair, that I would either walk the show with cornrows or an afro, and if not, that I wasn't going to do the show. Period. I think it's very sad that we're still having this conversation in 2023. Like, we're still talking about this. Still. She's aware of her power and her intelligence. I'm very meticulous about what I do, how I present myself, and how much access I give to the world.